And this man was on the last Yankee championship team in 2009. He's back at Old Timers Day on Saturday, his first appearance as an Old Timer. And he joins us now on the show, and that is CC Sabathia. C, thank you for joining us.
No problem. What's going on?
Not too much. You pitched against a lot of great hitters in your career. Have you ever seen anybody doing, for an extended period of time, what Judge is doing right now?
No, I mean, I guess the only other person would be Barry, right? But, I mean, no, I mean, not on a scale where the baseball team that I'm watching, my favorite team every day, feels like it's a guy going deep or impactful, double or something, where he's impacting the game every single day. So, no, I mean, for a team that I've watched, and been a fan of, no, I don't think there's ever been a player that, I can say that I've watched daily that like Aaron Judge right now.
CC, how would you pitch to him?
Right now, you can't. I mean, to be honest, I don't understand why teams are pitching to him. I mean, last night the Nationals had to pitch to him with the bases loaded, but outside of that, there's really nowhere you can throw the ball right now where he can't hit it out of the ballpark. And he's controlling the strike zone and controlling the plate so much that he's only swinging at pitches that he can actually barrel and slug. So there's really nothing you can do right now but hope that he hits the ball like he did last night, really hard at the shortstop, and, it's at somebody.
All right, so on the flip side of that, the guy batting in front of him, CC, how would you pitch to Juan Soto? Because, he's having an unbelievable year that's kind of dwarfed because Judge is having an historic year. What would you do with Soto?
I mean, kind of in the same boat, right? He controls the strike zone so well, too, that, he makes you if I was facing Juan Soto, I wouldn't make him hit his way on base. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to walk him. I definitely wouldn't want to get him to any counts where he can control the strike zone or anything like that. I'm trying to throw something in the zone or right off of his barrel where I'm getting weak or soft contact, but early in the count, and, definitely not trying to, put him on base and let him walk where, I have Judge and now I'm in trouble.
Does he seem, CC, does Judge seem any different from the kid that you met when he first got to this team?
No, and that's what's cool about him. He's always been the same. And I think if you even, talk to myself or Gardy or any of those older players on that team when he was younger, you could see the captain quality, right? Like he was, destined to be the captain and the leader of the team. I don't think anybody could predict that he was going to turn into Barry Bonds, but I think we all knew that he had the quality to lead and to be able to go out and be the captain of his team.
What I find amazing, CC, is that any other ball player on any other team, we're appreciating the moment, but only in New York, only with the Yankees do we have to have the caveat of, but he hasn't won yet, or does he have to win a ring to be considered an all-time Yankee? You played for the Bombers and other organizations. Do you look at that as a curse or something really cool that there is a certain standard with the Yankees that doesn't seem to exist with other teams?
I think it's something that's really cool, outside looking in. And I think, guys like Derek or guys like Brett Gardner or guys like, Aaron Judge that grow up in this culture, they don't know any different, right? Like they know that they need to win the World Series to be great because that's what every great Yankee has done. I think it's, when you outside looking in, you're like, oh, it's hard on these guys because only thing that matters is October. But when you grow up in this culture, that's the only thing that matters. Every year, beginning of the season in February, the only thing that matters is us playing through October. And these guys live with that. They come up Yankees, Volpe's the same way. So when you're in this organization, you come up in this organization, that's the way you think.
There's two things that happen in your career that it blew me away and gained such an incredible amount of respect around the game. Number one was when you got traded to Milwaukee and you're going to be a free agent and you took the ball, I think, 3 times on 3 days rest, despite the fact that you could get hurt. And the other one was in the game in Tampa Bay when you were, I think, an inning away from getting a $500,000 bonus and you drilled somebody because they drilled one of your players. That just, you don't make that stuff up. And I just wondered your thoughts. Garrett Crochet of the White Sox, he's coming back from an arm injury. He's having a great year, and people were going to trade for him. And he said, if I go anywhere, I'm not pitching in the postseason unless you give me a contract extension. So for a guy who actually went through that, what was your thought on that?
For me, I mean, getting traded was the most devastating thing that could have happened to me, at the time. I had been in Cleveland, for 11 years, 8 years in the big leagues. I was 17 when I got drafted, and, I thought I was going to be in the organization forever. But, when I got to Milwaukee and I walk in the clubhouse and it's Prince Fielder and Mike Cameron and my best friend Dave Risky at the time, all these different guys, I realized that it's just baseball. And, I felt good. I wanted to win. The team wanted me there, and they were on the verge of making the playoffs. So it was a no-brainer for me to pitch, on 3 days rest down the stretch because, the ultimate goal was to try to win.
And you never thought about the money that you could lose if you got hurt? You never thought about that, CC?
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about more money I could make if I pitched well.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't thinking about the money that I could lose if I get hurt. I was thinking about if I pitch well in these games, I could make myself more money because I didn't pitch well in pressure situations 2007. I won the Cy Young. I didn't pitch well in the DS against the Yankees. I didn't pitch well in the ALCS. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to show everybody, like, I can be a big game pitcher. So I want the ball as many times as possible because I feel like it was going to make me more money.
I never thought of it like that because I had heard rumors that your agent said maybe you shouldn't do this because you could get hurt, but you were trying to prove a point as well.
Oh, my agent wasn't talking to me at the time. He wouldn't even come to the game. He wasn't taking my calls. He wasn't coming to the starts or nothing. So he was pretty upset with me.
How crazy was it, going back to Old Timers Day? Did it hit you 15 years since 2009? How weird was that for you?
Yeah, it was weird. It was pretty cool though to be able to go back and kind of be celebrated. It was fun to be able to see all the guys, AJ and Phil, and I spent a lot of time with Derek. I see A-Rod, I see Posada, but to see all of these guys together in the same room again. It was a lot of fun, and it's cool to see how close we all still are, and to tell the stories and to kind of reminisce, But, yeah, I mean, it felt like 15 years, I feel like an old man. I could barely get up the stairs to get out of the dugout, But it was a lot of fun to be back together and be back with that crew.
You were there for everything that happened with Alex at the end of his Yankee career and, suing the team and all that. Did you ever think, when he was going through that there would be a time where he would be welcomed back by the Yankees, be a part of it all, to be received the way that he was received, and kind of like a phoenix get out of the ashes from all the controversy he was under at the end of his Yankee career?
Yeah, to be honest, like when he and we were all going through that, it was just, you were just in the moment. It was hard to think about, 10 years later, 15 years later, or even down the line. But I think, once you get removed from all of that stuff and you realize just how great of a player he was, just how much he meant to us in 2009, some of the big, big hit after big hit, big home run against Joe Nathan, big double against Brad Lidge. Just the countless conversations that me and him had out on the field, from third base to the pitcher's mound. Like, he would be like, hey, this guy's swinging first pitch right here. Just a baseball savant. So I think it's awesome to see him, come back, get his recognition, and he's one of the best players to ever play baseball. So he deserves to be celebrated.
We're talking with CC Sabathia here on the Michael Kay Show. You told a great story on Yes when you were with us on Saturday that you didn't want anything to do with signing with the Yankees. That was the last place you wanted to be, and Brian Cashman kind of convinced you of the things that you'd end up loving it, and here you are. You're raising your family in this area. What would you tell Juan Soto right now? What should the Yankees be selling him on, CC?
You know what? I don't think they need to sell him on anything because he's here. Like, he can see it. He can feel it. Like, it's different when you put on the pinstripes and you win and you're playing well in the Bronx. This summer's been on fire. Just looking at, the celebrations and the amount of fun that they've had. I think for me it was different because I hadn't had that. I was coming from smaller market teams, and all I heard about was, the rift that they had in the clubhouse, all the different things that you could have with the fans. I had just seen so many free agents coming in and not being able to, live up to whatever expectations they had or the fans had for them. And, I just didn't want to be a part of that. But, sitting down and talking to Cash that offseason and really sitting down and talking to Amber, it was the best decision that we could have made, and if I could, want to consider myself a winner and want to take on the challenge of trying to win every single time out, how could you not come to the Yankees? How could you not want to play in the Bronx? This is the only place that's proven that they want to win every single year. We may fall short, but it's not because of lack of effort. And, I think that, when you're in that clubhouse and you put on those pinstripes and you start doing some cool stuff and you see your name next to Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth and all these different guys, it's not hard to tell.
Now, I don't know, Don and Peter, I don't think they listened to the inning that you did with me and Paul on Saturday. And I've had so many people tell me, CeCe, wow, he's just so great on the air. Now, I know you do the alternate cast on the MLB Network, and that's something, obviously, in the broadcasting business, but you seem like you're such a natural in the booth doing a game. Have you ever given any thought to that at all?
I think I would have fun in the booth. I can't wear a suit. There's no way I'm wearing a suit to a baseball game. So if I could wear those shorts and that nowhere New York or nowhere shirt or some J's, I would definitely get in the booth. But it has to be, and I think that's why I created those clubhouse games and did those alternate casts on MLB, just to do it in a way that I'm comfortable. And but I love baseball. I love watching baseball. I watch a lot of games. I love the Yankees. I watch every single Yankee game. I think I could be good at it, but I don't think it's something that's for me right now.
All right, well, I have a little bit of a solution. See if it works for you. Ready? So Girardi hates wearing a jacket and tie. Hates it. But he wears a jacket and tie for the Open, which is 30 seconds, and then he puts a polo shirt on after that. You can sit there in shorts during the game just for the Open with a jacket and tie and take it off. Does that work?
That might work because I did have on slacks for the ceremony, and then I changed into shorts and T-shirt after. So
no, and the cheat code could be, CeCe, you just leave a couple of shirts and ties at the booth. And then you don't even have to wear it to the building. That's the cheat code. By the way, CeCe, of course, does incredible work, and I'm always happy to get to work with him with the Pitch In Foundation. And the golf tournament is coming up in a couple of weeks, September 23rd from 10 to 6. If you're looking to maybe buy a team and get in there and support the great work of the Pitch In Foundation, you can go to Pitch In. That's PITCCH in.org.
Cool. Now, CeCe, I want to get back to A-Rod for just a second. Would you like to see it all come full circle and maybe him end up in Monument Park?
Oh, yeah. Of course. But that's not up to me.
If it were up to you,
as a teammate, yes. Obviously, he's, like I said, somebody asked me the other day who's the best player that you ever played with, and it's hands down A-Rod. It's not even a question. If, you leave it up to me, I think he deserves to be in every Monument Park and everywhere.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it was great being in the booth with you and Paul. It was great to see the reaction that the fans gave you on Saturday. I hope you had a good time at Old Timers Day. And thank you for coming on with us, and thank you at the tournament. Good luck with the tournament coming up as well.
No problem. I'm trying to get my swing together, Peter. So I'm trying to shoot even on the tournament day. So I appreciate you plugging it.
Listen, relative to me, you're fine. Wait, and by the way, CeCe, one more random question. When I saw you in Cleveland and we ran into each other, was Kenny Lofton at dinner?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. That was Kenny Lofton.
So I run into CeCe. It turns out CeCe and Amber, he was doing an event in Cleveland, as he's wont to do, right? And I happen to be there, and I hear that they're having dinner down the street. I stop by, and a bunch of people are there that I know, and then CeCe's like introducing me. Oh, this is Kenny. And I'm looking at him, and we're having a conversation. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the icon Kenny Lofton. That was dope. Great seeing you, man. Thanks for jumping on.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You got it. I think we made some progress there.
Oh, no, we've done it.
Because all you have to do is wear the jacket and tie on the Open. That's it. We're not on camera after that.
I remember because that trick of dress shirt was how, when I was trying to force myself out of being a sloppy pig like Ray from South Carolina.
North Carolina.
Whatever. When Ray from North Carolina said that, the original trick that I had was I just started leaving, collar shirts in my locker here. And that was the beginning.
Because O'Neill doesn't put the tie on until we're about to tape the Open. So he's walking around with an open collar shirt, and then he puts the tie on, and then he takes it off. I keep it on all the time because I feel that a tie it covers your gut a little bit. You know what I mean?
I know, I get it. I know those tricks. Yeah. By the way, guys, I got to tell you something.
What?
Kenny Lofton, great guy.
You liked him?
A big fan. Lovely, regular guy. We spent a lot of time talking about basketball, actually. Very knowledgeable about basketball.
Very good player.
Very good player from my childhood. Kenny Lofton was the man.
Anyway, that was the Pinstripe Report brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. For pain-free life, visit SamwellPain.com today. The world's in a good place, Peter. You asked CC to come on, and he came on. He was on with us during the game. It's all, and I'm not just blowing smoke. And I know you guys didn't watch it, but he was so good on the air.
Well, you can hear it even right there. He does what the best players turned analysts do, which is speak honestly without any airs, pay attention and know the game. And, and just be good at communicating. Like, he has all of the basic skills down. Like, he's not trying to be fancy. He's not pretending to be someone else. He's a really knowledgeable guy and has the perspective of a player, and he knows how to communicate it without trying to fluff it up too much.
And I think that today's players look up to him, so he's going to have a portal into talking to them and telling stories. It's going to be great. Can't let a tie stand in the way.
That could happen. If I was a betting man, I'd say this could happen at some point soon.
But you're not a betting man.
No. Well, if I was, though.
But you're not.
Well, sometimes I am.
Okay.
Sundays, FanDuel, you know what I'm talking about.
Of course,
Promo code Peter.
Let's go to Bill in Red Hook. Bill.
Hey, how are you guys? Love the show.
Thanks, man.
The thing that I want to talk about or ask you guys about, I want to ask you, is what do you think the ramifications are going to be about this playoffs with Aaron Judge being walked all the time? Because it's not going to end there. It's going to go to Bobby Witt. It's going to go to Shohei Ohtani. The game is going to change. Like Wilt Chamberlain, they're going to have to change the rules, or at least in my opinion. And one other thing I want to say is, Don, I got to call my lawyer. You're going to give me a heart attack. I'm the guy who argued with you 6 years ago about Namath. All I got to say is September 24th, 1972. And guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it, because I really think that's going to be I think they're going to change not only intentional walks, but walks in the next couple of years. Because like you said, the hedge funds, does baseball want to see their best players not play in the playoffs?
Yeah, but I hear, we talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, Bill, and I understand your concern, but there have been a lot of great players in baseball, and only one of them got intentionally walked a lot, and that's Barry Bonds. I mean, they weren't intentionally walking Don Mattingly. They weren't intentionally walking Ohtani. The key is when you've got a great player like that, you have people behind them that make you pay when you walk them. You look at the Royals. The Royals have a pretty good lineup. They've got people behind Bobby Witt that forces you to at least try to pitch to Bobby Witt. Now, I agree with Cece. I don't know why anybody pitches the Judge. But of late, Stanton's made them pay. Wells has made them pay over the last 30 games. So I think one of the biggest keys to not having Judge pitched around is Soto on deck or Soto being on first. Because Soto worked so many walks, has an on-base percentage of close to 500. Don, Peter, he's on first base. That kind of ties your hands of walking Judge. That's as much of a deterrent as having somebody great hitting behind him.
See, that was the thing, is that it's not as much a baseball problem as it is a Yankee problem. You've got to have protection in that lineup. You've got to have other guys to be able to hit. And if Stanton is going to hit and if Soto's going to get on, then you're not going to have the luxury of pitching around Aaron Judge. Last night they had the bases loaded. What are they going to do, Michael? Bases loaded.
You got to pitch to him.
One out. You got to pitch to him. There's no other way around it. So how the Yankees perform ultimately is going to decide whether they pitch to him or not. And it becomes more of a Yankee problem than it is a baseball problem. And the caller is also, I looked it up just to confirm, but I knew what he was talking about. That was that shootout that the Jets had with the Colts and Johnny Unitas, that Namath went off, and I'm trying to get his stats, that Joe Namath threw for 496 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an interception. Okay, that's a game. Nobody's saying that Joe Namath wasn't a good player, Michael. He was a fabulous player. But if they lose to the Colts and he doesn't make his guarantee, he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
I think you might be right. I really think you might be right. Jack in Connecticut. Jack.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks for making it.
The thing that I wanted to talk about is that the importance of a ring versus the greatness of the player. And I throw a name out to you guys, Jim Luskatoff. I don't know if any of the three of you know who that was.
Basketball, right?
Basketball. He got 7 rings, and he got it because he was the backup to Bill Russell. So, I mean, does he take precedence over a guy who never won a ring?
Well, Robert Horry,
too.
Robert Horry's like the modern-day guy. Bounced around, always seemed to be at the right place at the right time to win a ring.
Hit some big shots, though. Robert Horry did hit some big shots.
Yeah, no,
Horry wasn't the backup.
But he's not. But nobody's going to make him one of the great players of all time.
Exactly. So why are people judged by the number of rings that they have then? You know, Frank Crissetti had 8 rings and Yogi Berra had 10. I mean, does that make Crissetti a top Yankee? I don't think so. He was a great coach and things like that.
You are starting to be, in defense of the people that weight the rings. I mean, you are picking guys that were backups that happen to be the right place at the right time. It is, I think, a great tiebreaker when you have 2 very equal players and one's got 5 rings and one has none. I can understand maybe siding with the guy that's got the 5 rings, but I need to see what all that looks like. How much did they contribute? Or did they hit a big shot? Would they have won the championship without him? You know, so I think we get lazy sometimes with the rings. Sometimes you got to look at the numbers.
See, I think that you're so right, though, Don. I mean, we have eyeballs, so we can actually watch how that ring is attained. And some people have a big part of a ring, and some people don't. That's just ridiculous. So, I mean, Clay Bellinger has a ring. Homer Bush has a ring. Does that make them better than Ted Williams? No. You have to see. You have to watch. You have to see how they contribute. Paul O'Neill's 5 rings mean something. He was a big part of all 5 of those teams. Derek Jeter's 5 rings mean something. And I'm not saying that Homer Bush and Bellinger don't, but you don't just give a ring and say it's each ring is not equal to the other ring, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's so... And listen, he didn't win all of them, but I don't know if you ever remember, Michael, that Don Baylor played in 3 straight World Series with 3 different teams. He was on the 86 Red Sox, he was on the 87 Twins, he was on the 88 A's. Right? Is that Don Baylor's magic, or he just happened to be the right place at the right time? You know, sometimes you just got to be on the right team, and sometimes you're just on the wrong team. But if there's a guy that, listen, if Judge's numbers never get any better than what they've been in the postseason, if he plays the next 10 years, they go to the playoffs 8 times, and he's still like a 211 hitter, then I could see where it's not gonna look great for him. But there's also a chance that he can hit like Stanton did a couple of years ago, and you still lose in the first round. Look at Munson's 76 World Series numbers, Michael. Right? They couldn't get him out.
Right.
There's the film footage of Sparky Anderson going out. We can't get that SOB out. The Reds swept the Yankees. Is that Thurman Munson's fault?